Hi, Long Hello. This is Kim Zimmerman from the missions team. I'm the local outreach specialist, and today we're talking with Mike and Joy Morris, who have been longtime Long Hello members and are part of Apartment Life in Sumner County. Would you guys
Yes,
mind just telling us about your family, what you do, and what Apartment Life is?
sure.
We are Mike and Joy, and we've been at Long Hollow since 2004 and moved to Hendersonville at that time. And we've been doing Apartment Life now. This is our third year,
Yes.
and we love it. It's
Let's talk about
season
who we
of
are.
life for us.
Want to talk about who we are?
This season of life for us is perfect. We're empty nesters. Our youngest just finished up college. We have 3 kids. They're all grown now, and
It was back in, I think it was 2017, that Long Hollow did a video of another couple from our church that was doing Apartment Life, and it was Brett and Amy McClure. And it was such a cool video, and it was something we had never even heard about. And we went out to lunch with some friends, and they go, "You guys should do that." And we're like, we should. Our kids are grown. Our daughter had like 2 years left of college, and so we immediately started looking into what Apartment Life was, and went through the whole process. So basically what Apartment Life is
it's a ministry where they place couples like us at an apartment property, basically to live in community with the residents. We work with the office staff to do 2 to 3 events every month. A chance just for residents to have some fun and connect and meet other residents, and to make it feel like a community to them. We do welcome visits to welcome new people to the property. And along the way, as we build friendships and relationships and just develop trust with people, we share Jesus from our lives to theirs. And we have a chance to hopefully help shepherd people along in their walk with Christ and introduce people to Christ that have never met him. So, like I said, this is our 3rd year doing it, and we love it.
it's been a perfect fit for us. When we looked into it and then we decided we were going to do it, we sold our house and we moved here. And it's cool because when you know where you're supposed to be, where God has you, it's really amazing, and to see him work. And for years, Mike and I have taught high school students at Long Hollow, and it has been like my heart. And then I just felt like as we were doing Apartment Life, like things were changing, and my kids are in their 20s, and we know so many 20-year-olds here. And so it was just this really cool transition of going from doing that to now ministering. We have so many 20-somethings here, and to invite them into our home and have dinner with them. And it's just, and they're surprised too, like when we do events, we're like, "We live here." They're like, "Oh, you do?" We're like, "Yeah, we live right down there." So it's a way for us to live with our neighbors. And I remember Brett McClure told us it makes you do what you're already supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
it's just
definitely.
harder when you're in a house and you drive home and you shut that garage door and you go inside. It's easier here because we walk out that door and right there's Reba, and right there is Jonathan, and we just see our neighbors. We go to the parking lot, and I end up being late for work because I had a 10-minute conversation with a neighbor. But that's what we're supposed to do, and it's just
Not be late for work.
not be that. My boss is great. She's like, "Be late for work, we're talking to a neighbor." But that's what we're supposed to do, and it just makes it really easy since we're living with them, and you do life with people, and then all of a sudden people are texting you and, "Hey, can you pray for me about this?" And I'm always getting different people's phone numbers when I meet them, and then I'll just shoot them a text. "Hey, how you doing?" Especially during all of this COVID, I have about 100 phone numbers, and I'll just be like, "Just checking up on you. Is there anything you guys need? How can we help you?" And it's perfect for our personalities.
You guys seem like you're killing it over there.
I mean, you can tell we love it. Absolutely love it.
Yes. As far as events, like what are some examples of things that you do? I know right now you're doing some sort of bingo.
Yeah, bingo.
We've transitioned to doing a lot of events online, virtual events, and things that allow people to social distance over the last 2.5 months, obviously. We're starting to get the green light to move back into some smaller connections, which we're looking forward to. But in a standard, normal environment, we do 2 to 3 events every month. One of them is always breakfast, the first Saturday every month. We have a pretty strong turnout, usually of 30 to 40 regular attenders. And a lot of times we need some help cooking and serving breakfast, but it's a great low-key event, especially first-time people that haven't been to an event before, that are new to the community, come just to meet other residents and figure out, hey, where do I go for this? Or, you know, what are some fun activities to do in the area? So that's a standard event for us. And then depending on the month, in the summertime, we usually have a big cookout by the pool.
We have the snow cone truck come.
We have outdoor events.
Cornhole, kickball.
Every November we do Friendsgiving, which is a big blowout event for us, where we'll set up the whole clubhouse with tables and chairs and seating for about 80 people. And we've had as many as close to 100 the first year.
Let me tell you, Friendsgiving and our friends from Long Hollow knocked it out of the park. And it's so cool because, like, I get this vision thing, and then I'm like, Mike, put it into, help me out here. So, like, the church had allowed us to use tables. So we set up tables, I decorated them all, and then I just shot it out there to all my friends from church, from Facebook. We had so much food. I think we had 44 little half thingies, right?
44 pans.
Yes, and people kept asking us, who catered this? I'm like, right here, all of my friends. These are my great friends from my church. And they stayed, they served, and they loved it too. And another neat thing I'll say, like when we do have events, a lot of times our life group will come. I'm like, can anybody help make waffles? And then it frees me up to just go and sit and talk with people. And then I'll be like, I'm sorry. And they're like, no, that's what you're supposed to do. So it frees me up to be able to talk, catch up with people, introduce new people to some more seasoned residents.
Yeah, this doesn't sound right, but our goal at every event is that Joy doesn't have to do anything.
I love that.
Just so that she can greet everybody, so everybody that comes in feels like they were acknowledged and have a chance to connect and hear where they're from, and you know, learn some names and learn some more about them. And so when our friends from church jump in to help us, that really frees us up to circulate the room a little bit more, to make sure we're trying to meet needs of people, and you know, just to give us a chance to get to know their name. So we're not so busy flipping pancakes and
we just
pouring orange juice that we, you know, didn't get to do anything more than say hi. So that's been a real blessing to us.
And the most important thing you can say to someone is their name. So it's like when we meet them, I'm like, okay, and you live where? And I'll write it down, and then I keep remembering it. Because then the next time they come in, we're like, hey, Brett, you know, and we know people's names. And that already starts to make you feel a part of something, because someone remembered who I was.
You're known and seen. That's so important.
Yes.
Yeah. So really, volunteers when they help us, it's low pressure on them. Really, you're just there to serve and to help be a part of our team. And you know, if you have the opportunity to interact with some folks, just be yourself. We're not asking you to lay the gospel on them or to have a theological answer to a deep question of life. Just you know, and it's funny because one of the guys in our life group, he said, I'm just not comfortable talking to people, but I'll come flip hamburgers for you. And he came to the cookout event for us, and every time I'm like, hey, we need some more meat over here at the grill. Where's Terry?
Like,
he's over there
you're talking to everybody.
He spent the whole time, he got to know 4 or 5 people, and he told us afterwards, hey, that guy's really cool. He's from Wisconsin. He just moved here, and he, you know.
He came back again and remembered their names too.
But it's one of those things where you just come and be yourself and be a friendly face and be there to serve and reinforce with our residents. You know, we have a lot of folks, 20-somethings that may or may not have been to church growing up, or are kind of disillusioned with it and not sure where that fits in their life now. And for them to see us and to see our friends who go to our church that are real people, that are fun to be around, and it gives them a pause to step back and go, maybe church has something to offer for me. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's not what I remember it to be, or the things that turned me off to it from the previous experiences. And so that to us is a huge blessing when other folks can come and say, well, it's not just Mike and Joy that are that way because they're supposed to be that way. Here's these other people that they just love people, and they're real people dealing with real life stuff, but they know the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it seems like anyone can serve with you. It doesn't matter age or gender, anything
No,
like that.
absolutely.
We've had some folks bring their 10 or 12-year-old along to
Yeah. Help serve and
serve
stuff.
desserts, split pancakes, whatever.
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of families that live at our place, and it's after the cookout one year, one of the families that served with us had their kids with them, and they wanted to go swimming in the pool with some of the kids from the property, and we stayed around and so built that relationship. So that's family's a great thing.
Yeah. And it's very low key. It's not a lot of pressure. We're doing the talking and the work, and it's just being hands for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you had told me earlier that you guys are the only ones in Sumner County doing Apartment Life?
Yes. Apartment Life is a faith-based nonprofit organization. They're out of Texas, and they have teams throughout the country. So we're a part of the Nashville team, and there are 30 Nashville teams. They're like from Murfreesboro, to Cool Springs, and then the whole Nashville area. And we are the only team in Sumner County, which is cool for our apartment, because they always say we're the only apartment that has an Apartment Life team that does all these things. But I just think there are so many apartments in Sumner County that are just ripe for people. What do you were gonna say something?
Absolutely. There's in fact our programs are often communicated to the owners of properties they own properties in Nashville and in Hendersonville and at other places. And so as our teams build a good rapport with that property owner, they want to add them to other properties they own. And so some of these groups are building apartments or have built apartments out in Gallatin and other places in Sumner County. And they would be very receptive to placing a team there if one was available. So I know we've had a couple of conversations with our program director about expansion in this area. And part of the challenge is just having teams or people ready to serve in that capacity.
Right. Because right now they don't have anybody that they know of who would be available to be a team and put somewhere. So that's like they're really not searching much for apartments because they don't have people to do it. And then another nice thing is, like, Mike and I are now a cohort leader. So we have 4 teams under us that we help and mentor. So if there were to be, teams in Sumner County, then we would just take over and be mentors for that too.
We're here for you.
We're here for you.
You don't have to do it alone.
Yes, but it's just like there are so many places and the opportunity, and that is our heart, I think, at Long Hollow, is to be reaching our communities. And what a perfect opportunity with all of these apartment communities everywhere to have different teams throughout. So it's exciting to see what God can do with a willing heart.
That is exciting. What is the commitment like for Apartment Life?
And so it starts with the 2-year commitment, because
Okay.
they'll build a relationship with a property and say, we want to do this for 2 years. The team needs to be, either a married couple or, 2 same-sex friends that roommates that will commit to doing. I think they tell you it's about an average of 10 to 12 hours a week. Kind of treat it like a part-time job.
Yeah.
But really, one of the things that in the interview process, they told us to consider your social life and your activity, and consider orienting that around this ministry. So, Joy and I, we like to do things with other friends and with people, and we realized that we might have to scale some of that back and to give us opportunities to have a weekend dinner with a couple from here, or to go do some activities with other folks. So we have purposely oriented a lot of our free time. Just as we do the things that are fun for us, we find people here to do them with.
Right. Right.
But in terms of the commitment, there's 2 to 3 events to do every month. It takes, roughly 3 to 5 hours from a planning, purchasing, organizing, setting up the event. The events themselves usually last a couple hours. So,
But that's how you would do if you're doing an event in your neighborhood. There's the planning, there's all of this to do it. So it's just the events themselves are usually about 2 hours.
Right.
Then it's just the planning. And then we do welcome visits. Right now everything's virtual with our visits. So I'm like emailing and texting people, welcoming them. Usually when it wasn't, we'd make cookies and then we'll just go knock on their doors and say, welcome to the community, tell who we are and what we do. And then there's, at the end of every month, we need to finish it up with our online paperwork of, this is the event we did. This is how it turned out. This is the implications of how it's good for the business. And then we send Apartment Life, like, these are the spiritual impacts that we made. These are the people that we've invited to church, because Apartment Life has goals for us spiritually. And then they have goals for us business side, to make it worthwhile for a community to have us here.
Yeah.
But 2 years, because it takes a while just to build relationships and get to know people and to kind of get in here. It takes a couple months anyway.
It takes 3 to 6 months just to get traction.
Yeah.
Where, it takes a while to develop relationships with folks and, 3 to 5 encounters with somebody before they'll start to open up and share more personal details.
Mm-hmm.
So the goal for the ministry obviously is to be able to share Christ with them. And if you're spending 3 to 6 months just get to know people, you need to have that 2-year window,
right,
to further develop that relationship. But the Apartment Life describes itself as a business tree because there's a business relationship with the property owner. They're providing a marketing budget and they're providing concessions on the apartment. So for that investment, they hope that you're connecting residents to their property in a positive experience and helping them build relationships so they stay longer, so they invite other people to live there, and it helps them with their staying at capacity. So in our end of the month reporting, there's a portion of the reports that the property owners want to see in terms of how many people showed up at the event, what were some of the comments about the property and some of the ways you're making an impact there. Obviously, from a spiritual standpoint, as Joy mentioned, we're given some goals in terms of, just identifying ourselves as Christ followers and having spiritual connections with people where we invite them to church. We've had, a couple of dozen people attend Long Hollow, some with us, some on our suggestion, several of them online in this COVID environment.
It's been a really good way to invite people lately, because people,
you don't have to get dressed up or anything. Just click it on your phone or your computer, and
I'll send them a screenshot, and I'm like, "Hey, join me." And so that's actually kind of a good way to help us out through there. And I wanted to say also, we have a big network here because we have the 30 teams, and you have people who are mentoring you if you're a team, and everybody has ideas. So it's helpful. It's not like, I was worried at first. I'm like, I don't know what type of event to do. I don't know how to do it. Well, there's so many people who've been doing it. And I just end up getting ideas from them. Like I got the bingo idea from somebody else, and we just all help each other out. So I'm like, can I steal your idea? They're like, yeah, I'll steal yours too. And we're all helping each other. So that makes the load not as heavy too.
And it's really helpful for new teams starting out too, where you may be a little overwhelmed in terms of, I'm not sure what type of events to do. We've got a list of here's half a dozen tried and true events that here's the way you do a taco night. Here's the way you do a pancake breakfast or whatever, where you can just kind of put that in somebody's hands and help them through the basics of the event and getting some volunteers to help out. And then, you just show up and meet people.
Yeah. And we've gone and helped other teams, like they need help for an event, and we'll just go and hop in and let them again be able to go talk, and we're kind of there to help them to do that.
That's amazing. I love this. What are some ways that Long Hollow can be praying for you, your complex, and your family right now?
Well, obviously in this, environment of uncertainty and the challenges with COVID, I think we're starting to come out of the hardest times of that. But there was a season of that where um, it was really a chance to, people were revealing where they were at faith-wise, as you can tell by their level of anxiety and level of fear and concern over this. And so that was a real opportunity for us to, share Christ in some conversations. But I think as that's worn on and we're starting to get back into a normal routine of life, we're praying that we can get some momentum going again.
Right.
Because while we did transition to a virtual environment and did a lot of things online, the initial, excitement or the intensity is worn off.
Yeah.
On some of those things, and people are not as connected as they were in the beginning. Praying that
Get that momentum
we can,
going
we can
again.
get together face to face with some people and start to reconnect and hear where they're at and what's going on in their life. And of course, with an apartment property, probably, in our 2-year period, at least a third of the people have turned over, if not more. So we've got a batch of new people that we haven't even connected with yet over the last 2.5 months,
Yeah.
other than an email or a text. And so, just praying that we can get some momentum going again and also connect with some of those new folks. And in this post COVID lockdown scenario where we're starting to get freedom to do a few things face to face, pray that we can get people out to attend them, that
Yeah.
there wouldn't be
Fear.
a lot of fear and restrictions of, being able to get together face to face. So that's probably one of the first and biggest prayer requests for us. We are obviously would love to see apartment life grow in the Sumner County area, just because seeing the dozens of apartment properties that have popped up out in Gallatin and out in Hendersonville farther out. And so we would love to be able to help others in this ministry, because there's dozens of people living in those properties that need the Lord.
The interesting statistic was 95% of people who live in apartment communities don't have a church.
Oh, wow.
So that was kind of like a light bulb to us. Like, this is a really good area to be in.
Yeah.
And we found that when we first moved in here. I mean, I thought, okay, that's a statistic nationwide. I can see in the big metropolitan cities of, New York and Chicago. Yeah, I get that. But this is the Bible Belt, and when we moved in here, we were amazed at how many people are not from here.
Yes.
A lot of East Coast, West Coast, whatever drew them to Nashville. A lot of them picked Hendersonville as a spot to live where they could be in proximity to Nashville, but not in it for whatever reasons they choose. And so we found a lot of people from these other parts of the country that may not have grown up in church or didn't have a church connection. We found other folks that
are looking for something but still haven't found a church yet. Yeah.
So, and I would say, that statistic, it's probably not 95% here, but I bet it's close to 80 in terms of our connection and interaction with folks. So, yeah, this ministry for us is part of it is just a chance to try to connect them from the church and get some, input from the Lord in the teaching of Pastor Robbie or, whatever pastor they, go to. And so that's a huge.
And it's neat too, because like we have different ministries at Long Hollow, and Mike has such a heart for widows. And like we've had several widows here, and he has taken one through like the whole grief share thing, and he's driven her there because she didn't like to drive at night. And so, we met people in the parking lot a week ago, and they're moving here and they have teenagers. And I'm like, we have a really good, I know for a fact from personal that we have a really good student ministry. So there's also different ministries that we're able to point people to. And, we may not be able to be close with you, but I can point you to different things and help you out there. So that's really neat to do.
Well, that's amazing. And we are so thankful for you guys for what you're doing and the commitment just to love our community as Jesus loved us, and just to
Yeah.
see people where they are. And
To live
you guys are,
independently.
yes, you guys are seen, and we are so thankful for what you are doing.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you. And we're so thankful for Long Hollow and their
Yes.
support, not just the financial support for the ministry itself that helps pay the staff salaries that support us, but the bigger pieces of, using tables and chairs and the connection with life groups. And, we wouldn't been able to do Friendsgiving.
Yeah.
Is a top-notch event and just blows people away. And part of what blows them away is the quality of the food, but the other part of it is, who is this? That's our highest volunteer-driven
We
activity.
had 20 people.
We had 15 people made food, and we had another dozen people serving with us.
Yeah.
And they see this army of people standing there with spoons in their hands, ready to pile on their plate,
Yeah.
and bringing them refills on drinks and desserts. And they're just overwhelmed by the ways that they feel loved at this event. And we're just so thankful for Long Hollow encouraging folks to get out, and just the heart of the membership that jumps on board with us. And we're thankful for that.
Yeah. That's a people thing. It's not Long Hollow staff's responsibility to like find us. It's being connected in a life group. And then we have friends who are in another life group, and they're like, hey, we want to come and help you with this. And they're like, okay, let's do another one. And I think it blesses them, the friends who come, like those who came to Friendsgiving, they were just like, they sat afterwards and ate, and they're like, wow, we are blown away. I'm like, it's fun, isn't it? It's just fun to love on people. So you definitely are blessed as much as those who are eating and who are being served. So it's a great opportunity.
Well, I hope people watching this will want to come and serve with you.
Yes. And if anybody wants to, be an Apartment Life missionary too, talk to you and, send them to us.